Hello, Internetians. My name's Josh, aka Ultra Player, your coach of the New York Metagross. Welcoming you back to Delta Battle League Season 5. We are currently 1-0 after a win last week against the Blaze Templar and the Nebraska Neuburns, and this time we are taking on JoJo, coach of the Atlanta Shocks. I don't believe he has a YouTube channel, so I will not be linking it, obviously. However, he has a very scary team. He is currently 0-1 after a loss last week against Boston Breezels. And his team is super threatening versus mine. I'm very, very nervous about this matchup. His team is going to appear below. Eventually. No, it's not, because I don't have it pulled up. Ooh, there it is. Wow. Shout out to me. So there is his team. Very, very scary. Now, let's talk about this team for a second. Mega Alakazam is a huge threat against me. If you don't know our team real quick, we have the Mega Gardevoir, we have the Zygarde, we have the Celesteela, we have the Delmise, Suicune, Jolteon. We don't have Delmise, we have Decidueye. He has Delmise. Decidueye, Suicune, Jolteon, Buzzwole, Alolan Persian, Regirock, Garbodor, and Miltank. So those are our mons. His Mega Alakazam is a huge threat against me. His Magearna, especially since the Z-Crystal, is a huge threat against me. Dragonite is kind of a threat, but I have plenty of mons that can kind of handle it. However, a DD, Dragon Move, Thunder Punch, Superpower can really be kind of a threat to my team. However, I think it's kind of well handled. Like, I'm scared of it still. However, moving on. Entei, not too the biggest of threats because I do have stuff like Zygarde, I have stuff like a Miltank, as well as a Suicune. So, and a Regirock. So I don't really expect that thing to come. Gengar is always a big threat. Paired to Delmise, as Ghost Spam, it's really annoying because my Ghost Resist is... I do have 2 Ghost Resist, however, neither of them are coming, so that's unfortunate. But I do have ways, I think, to kind of switch into the Gengar and such. He has an Uxie, which defensively is kind of obnoxious. It can take hits from a lot of my mons. However, I do have ways to kind of shut that down. Has no recovery, so that's cool. Ditto's kind of annoying because I do have, like I said, like something I like to build a lot around is bulky setup. So having to face my own setup is very, very hard. He has a Prinplup for a defogging purposes and to be a bulky water. However, I don't really expect that to come. And then a Zangoose, which could come because it's kind of a threat pet. However, I do have stuff like Decidueye on my team and Buzzwole, which can take hits and fire back superpowers and Hammer Arms. So that's very nice. Now, back to some of his earlier mons. I want to really go over his 6 that I feel are coming. Now, first and foremost, Magearna is coming. There is no reason for him to not bring Magearna against my team. It absolutely destroys me, and I have no way to beat it. So that's fun. I do have ways to beat it, but like it's very hard for me to take it on in general. Shift Gear with 3 attacks is probably the scariest thing that I could ever see. If it's a defensive variant to take on stuff like my Gardevoir, my Celesteela, my Suicune, etc., I'm happy. I am perfectly okay with that. That means it can't set up and it can't kill me, everything on my team. So that's great. Mega Alakazam. Huge threat. However, because Alakazam does not have Thunderbolt, it's very well handled by my Celesteela, and I can still see it coming. However, I do have multiple ways to handle it. If I were him, I'd be a very max speed Alakazam to take on stuff like my Scarfer, such as potentially a Buzzwole, which could be Choice Scarfed, or my Decidueye, which could potentially be Choice Scarfed. However, he does not have to do that, and if he doesn't, that's very nice. Alakazam can still run some support moves in that last slot, because I do expect Psychic, I do expect Shadow Ball, I do expect Focus Blast, and then like Encore is a very good move for Alakazam because it can lock my Suicune into a rest if I'm going for that, or Calm Mind if I'm going for that. Dragonite, big threat, big threat, big threat. Dragon Dance, 3 attacks is very scary. I just have to hope I get this coverage right with what I think he's going to be bringing. And if I do, it's much better. He's not a Z-Mon, so that's kind of better. So I don't have to worry about Gigavolt Havoc. If he was a Gigavolt Havoc variant, then I'd be a lot more scared. Ditto. Ditto is a massive threat to me. Massive, massive threat. Just because I have stuff like a Dragon Dancing Zygarde and a Tautomizing Celesteela on my team, a Calm Mind Mega Gardevoir, maybe a Swords Dancing Decidueye, Calm Mind Suicune, Curse Miltank, Curse Regirock. Bulk Up Buzzwole, etc. It's very annoying for me to have to deal with this mon. And I'm very scared of it in a certain way, but I've prepped a lot for it, so hopefully that doesn't come to bite us in the butt. That's always fun. So those 4 mons can be almost guaranteed to come. Uxie I very much expect to come as well, as a defensive mon, and potentially the Delmise as well. So that's nice. So let's get into our team. I've rambled long enough. First one we are going to bring in is going to be our Mega Gardevoir. Now, as I mentioned, Magearna is a huge threat, and I have one way to beat that, and that is praying I can predict his set. I believe, without a doubt in my mind, he's going to be Shift Gear, he is going to be Focus Blast, he is going to be Thunderbolt. That last move is going to be Ice Beam, a Fairy move, or Flash Cannon. I do not think it'll be Flash Cannon. I think it'll be Ice Beam or Dazzling Gleam, with a Z move potentially on that last slot. Unless it's Ice Beam. If it's Ice Beam, then I expect it to be on Focus Blast for all-out pummeling. If he is that, Mega Gardevoir can handle it very, very well. I have Hyper Voice. I have Hidden Power Ground. I have Wish and Protect. Hyper Voice is just so good against his team. And handles... It kind of destroys him, to be honest. I do have Max HP, Max Speed F. However, I can take one hit from a Dragonite, maybe, depending on what that hit is. It's definitely not going to be an Iron Tail. I don't believe I take a +1 Extreme Speed, but I could be wrong. I am max HP. But should I be able to, I will use my Mega Gardevoir to handle that. I have Hidden Power Ground for the Magearna, and if he is an offensive Magearna, and he's max no bulk, Hidden Power Ground will be a 3 KO, which is not very nice, but it's better than nothing, because nothing on my team really wants to take that on. If I can prevent him from getting a Shift Gear, somehow, good luck with that one. That'll be all the better. Wish and Protect is to stay healthy. Now the EVs, I have synchronized beforehand, of course. Just it's personally the best move to have beforehand. Should I have to switch in on a maybe? I don't know. I don't know why I have it. Synchronize. I have synchronized, not trace. I'm thinking trace. Synchronize in case he burns me on my way in. Anyway. I have enough speed to outspeed a max speed Magearna, and you'll see that 5 of my 6 mons can outspeed a Magearna. And that is the goal. Get damage off, get damage off. Do not let that thing set up for free. The only one that can outspeed is, of course, going to be my Celesteal. But everything else is EV to outspeed off, obviously. So there's that. Wish Protect is always nice. It's also going to let me keep some of my other mons, such as my Zygarde, such as my Suicune, such as my everything, really, healthy, and able to take on generally everything on his team, praying to God that it works. So that's that. I can also take a hit from Gengar as long as it's not Specs. And I can fire back a Hidden Power Ground, which is very nice. He does not really have good switch into this outside of maybe the Uxie, which still does not want to take it well. Entei cannot switch in freely because of Hidden Power Ground, doing a decent amount. I do have a lot of special attack naturally. Like, I have more than a fully invested base 115, so that's nice. So I'll be using that to my advantage. Now the next one we're going to be bringing is going to be our Suicune. We have Calm Mind, Rest, Ice Beam, and Scald. If he does not bring Ditto, and he does not have Encore on his Alakazam, this destroys him. This absolutely blows him away, because he cannot really handle it without starting to boost up with his Dragonite. And even then, a +1 Ice Beam is going to be doing a lot, and if his Multiscale is broken, it's dead. I have enough speed for Magearna, obviously. If you want to get Scalds off, if I can get a burn, even better. Start chipping that thing down. Calm Mind, Rest. I feel weird about having Calm Mind 2 attacks with Rest on my Suicune, but however, it did win me my preseason game, so it's clearly worth something. And it also beats almost everything. Delmise does not want to take Ice Beams repeatedly. It can take one at +1 unless it's Assault Vest, then it can easily take Ice Beams forever. Greninja may not be able, or I might not be doing a lot of damage to Greninja, but that thing is frail anyway, and I do a lot of damage, and it's not going to be doing a lot of damage to me. Its best move to hit me is, I believe, Grass Knot will do the most. No, Dark Pulse will do the most, guaranteed. No. Yes. No. Yes. Grass Knot. I don't know how much Suicune weighs. I'm sure it's Grass Knot. However, if I can get to +1, it's not going to be doing too much anyway, and I'll try and beat it 1v1. Zangoose can always threaten me out because of Guts Boosted, or Toxic Boosted. Toxic Boosted Facades. So that's always scary, but I will be able to potentially, if he can't switch in. Because if I click Scald and burn him, then he just lost one of his very best offensive threats against me. Obviously, the switches in on Entei very well. I can take a hit from the Alakazam. I can take anything not bar a Gigavolt Havoc from the Magearna. Dhelmise, I do not want to stay in on, but I can just Ice Beam that thing, and I also outspeed it guaranteed. So that's nice. Now moving on, we have our Zygarde. We are bringing Dragon Dance, Coil, Thousand Arrows, and Substitute. This is going to allow me to set up subs and not be copied by Ditto. And the speed is going to be so that at +1, I outspeed a max speed. Woo! Alakazam. No, it's not. Ooh, that's not good. Let me just put one more point. Now I outspeed a max speed Alakazam at +1 speed. So that's great. Coil is there so I can boost up and potentially not have my sub broken by a lot of his mons. If Dragonite is not rocking a Dragon Stab for whatever reason, or it is choice banded into any move bar a Dragon Stab, at +1, I will be able to set up a sub on that and not have it be broken. This also benefits from Wish Passion from my Gardevoir. Entei cannot break my sub unless it's banded with Flare Blitz, and even then it's a roll at +1. He's guaranteed not to break. If it's a physical Greninja, he needs Ice Punch to break my sub. Dhelmise, once I'm at +1, cannot break my sub with Power Whip. So that's great. And Zangoose, before Toxic Boost, cannot break my sub. Sub is mainly there for Ditto. However, if I start getting free Dragon Dances up, that'll be great. I know I can scare with the Magearna if it is offensive. It won't want to stay in and take a Banded Thousand Arrows. So I'd be able to set up a sub there. And this could potentially be a win con, depending if everything gets weakened down, depending on what's left, what speedy threats are left, what offensive threats are left. And that's always good. So that's the defense, and the rest was poured into attack so that I can deal out as much damage as possible. Zygarde has a very good matchup this match. This is also going to allow me to have a soft check to the Entei. He's not going to want to stay in and just Sacred Fire me when he can lose his Entei with a Banded Thousand Arrows. I also... More and more I see this. Can I outspeed? I'm going to speed tie with it. I know this will make certain things roll, but I want to outspeed that Zangoose. So I'm changing things live. The NPA is going on. The NPA is going on. And also the MLP is going on. However, sorry, I'm distracted by the NPA. The NPA Minors is so awesome. For those who don't know, I got into the NBA Minors, but by the time this video goes up, I will have an announcement video, so that's great. So yay for NBA Minors, and yay for Zygarde potentially winning. Leftovers are going to be there to stay healthy. I have 3 leftovers on this team, and it's really weird for me, but I think it'll do great. Next one we're going to be bringing is going to be our Celesteela Leech Seed, Heavy Slam, Earthquake, and Protect. I have enough speed to outspeed a max speed Adamant Dhelmise. That's it. And a very bulky Magearna should be bringing that. Leech Seed and Protect. I do want a defensive Celesteela this time, as it's going to handle a lot of his threats. Should he be +1 Thunder Punch with Dragonite, then I believe my defensive EVs will prevent that from OHKOing, and I can hit that with a Leech Seed or a Heavy Slam as needed. Probably the Leech Seed to get up the guaranteed damage, get myself back up to an okay amount of health, and then switch out appropriately. Heavy Slam and Earthquake is what I found to be the best coverage for his team. I threw around a lot of coverage for those 2 moves, and I ended up really liking Heavy Slam plus Earthquake. Although I did have Dual Stab with Flash Cannon and Air Slash. I had Flamethrower on there. I had so many options, but I really like this. This is going to mean that Ditto cannot really do anything to me either. Should he copy this Mon with Ditto as I switch out or something, I can go into my Zygarde, and he cannot break my sub with the Ditto. So that's great. Now, this will also let me switch into Uxie. This will switch into Zangoose really well. It can take hits from the Greninja, but it's mainly here for Mega Alakazam, and Heavy Slam, I believe, is a guaranteed OHKO or close to it. This Spadef is there just as I was pouring the rest of the EVs in there after I made sure that I didn't get OHKO'd by Dragonite, and that I was faster than the Dhelmise. That's great. Great. Protect is there, obviously, to get Leech Seed recovery and to scout moves as well. I can take hits from Gengar should I need to and fire back an Earthquake. I can take hit from generally everything bar the Entei and a Gigavolt Havoc. Magearna and Earthquake will do a decent amount of that, so that's always nice. Next mon, we are going to be bringing me go ahead and speed my way through this because we are taking a while. Buzzwole, Choice Scarf, Leech Life, Superpower, Earthquake, and Ice Punch. Enough speed so that at +1, I outspeed a max speed, modest Mega Alakazam. The rest poured into Spadef. This coverage hits his entire team. Everything on his team gets hit super effectively, I believe, from this set, except for Prinplup and the Ditto copying me. Mega Alakazam, Leech Life, Magearna, Earthquake, or maybe Superpower, depending. Dragonite, Ice Punch, Entei, Earthquake, Gengar, Earthquake, Dhelmise, Ice Punch, Greninja, Leech Life, Uxie, Leech Life, Prinplup, and Ditto can go fuck themselves. Zangoose, Superpower. I destroy his team, and that's very nice. This also gives me a potential win con because I can just start sweeping late game. If Ditto wants to copy me, he'll have to win a speed tie, and even then, rolls and such. I do have more HP than he will, I believe, because I believe he ends up with about 303 HP. And I have 355, so I will be doing more damage to him. So that's always nice. This can be a potential win con. Should I scout out what his Choice Scarfer is? Should I be able to scout out all the sets? Should I be able to weaken everything? I can just click one certain move and potentially clean up late game. Now, of course, the Scarf Gengar is a problem for this, as well as a Water Shrieking Greninja, but I have counterplay to that, which you will see in this next Mon. Not much to say about Buzzwole, it destroys him. And the last Mon is going to be Jolteon, Thunderbolt, Full Switch, Shadow Ball, and Light Screen with a Zap Plate, and Quick Feet. Now, Quick Feet is here because should he want to bring Ditto as a Jolteon counter because of Volt Absorb, he will not be able to because he will be copying my Quick Feet instead of my Volt Absorb. I much rather just give up Volt Absorb for the Quick Feet. Should he burn me or something, then I'm faster than a +2 Magearna. I believe. Depending on a set. Right? No, I'm always faster than a +2 Magearna. And then I'm faster than everything on his team. Naturally, I'm faster than everything on his team, bar the Mega Alakazam, so that's nice. But I'll also be faster than, say, a Dragonite, a Choice Scarf, anything. It'll be grand. It'll be grand, grand, grand. Now, this coverage, I originally had dual screens, and I was going to bring Light Clay with Volt Switch and Shadow Ball, but I'd much rather have Thunderbolt just to be able to spam late game should I need that extra power, and should I need the... should I need to stay in with Jolteon instead of Volt Switch out. Shadow Ball is going to be there for the Dhelmise, for the Gengar, who can kind of take a Thunderbolt. Well, Dhelmise can take Thunderbolts, but it will not want to take a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball will also do more damage to Mega Alakazam. I believe 160, no, maybe 27. No, technically Thunderbolt will do the most damage to Mega Alakazam, but it's mainly here for the Dhelmise. I don't want Hidden Power Ice for the Dragonite, or Hidden Power Ground for the Ditto, as I'd much rather have the Light Screen. Now, Light Screen is going to let me take hits from all of his special threats. His physical-based threats, such as Dragonite and Entei, are kind of handled. Dhelmise is not too big of a physical threat, and Zangoose I have checks to. So I'd much rather just have Light Screen first, so I can take on stuff like Greninja better, stuff like Gengar better, and stuff like Magearna and Mega Alakazam better. So it'll be a really nice addition to have, and I have enough speed for Greninja with max special attack and the rest in HP. With that, I believe I have rambled on long enough. I'm going to go get connected with JoJo the Momo, and we'll be right back with the Atlanta Shocks. Alright guys, we are here, and unfortunately I am going to have to post-com this. So what ended up happening was we started the battle, and he had to leave. He had an emergency. I told him to go take care of it because it's not really my place to talk about, but I told him you need to take care of this emergency, it's fine. So we ended up starting the battle another day, and while it was happening, there was issues on his side. He was taking his time, and then Ben from the MLP wanted to battle too, and that was the only chance I was going to get to battle him. So I was like, oh god, why? So I could not record because I also had to battle Ben while I'm battling JoJo. So it messed up with the recording. I couldn't really... Anyway, so we're here post-comming it, which is not too bad of a problem. Anyway, you were going to see on his screen on our screen what he decided to bring, and you can see that he brings the Mega Alakazam, his Magearna, his Greninja, his Zangoose, his Uxie, and his Gengar. No Ditto, no Dhelmise, and no Dragonite. all of which I'm very, very happy to hear, or very happy to see. No Entei, which is whatever. I mean, as I said in the team builder, I have plenty of switch-ins to an Entei. I really did not expect him to bring it. And no Print Bluff, which is whatever. It really wouldn't have done too much for him, except maybe roar out my Suicune. So there's that. Now, looking at his team, he has one physical attacker, except for maybe Uxie, and that's going to be his Zangoose. Everything else is special, special, special. So Celesteela is going to be very, very important in this match, and Gardevoir is going to be important to stay alive against that Magearna. Hopefully he is not going to crash. Looking at this team, I have not seen this replay. I have not seen this battle since we actually had the battle. Let me give it to Discord. So I'm going to try and remember as best as possible. However, I'm positive that I'm going to lead out with my Jolteon. Due to the fact that he has so many special attackers, Light Screen is so valuable this match. Being able to make Magearna less powerful, make Alakazam less powerful, make Greninja and Gengar less powerful is very, very nice. So I'm going to lead off with Jolteon, and that's going to be the very first thing I do is going to be click the Light Screen. And then immediately I'm going to Volt Switch out. It's going to get some damage off on him, and I'm going to be able to go into my Celesteela and take any hits he wants to go for. He's going to go for U-turn and go out to Gengar. Now, his team is very... His team really struggles with Celesteela. The only thing he really has for it is Zangoose if it has Thunder Punch. Other than that, Celesteela can basically wall almost everything on his team. And he goes into Gengar, which tells me he potentially has the Thunderbolt. However, I am behind the Light Screen. I know Heavy Slam will kill, as will an Earthquake. And I'm just going to go for that Heavy Slam. I can take Thunderbolt with no problem. If I go for Heavy Slam, I can also hit the Uxie coming in if he wants to try and stall out my Light Screen. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to go for the Heavy Slam. He is going to go out into his Uxie. And I'm going to get off a decent amount, which is going to help potentially my Zygarde win late game because he does not have ways to stop Zygarde. He's going to go for Thunder Wave as I go for Leech Seed. I'm like, okay, I'm paralyzed, which is not fun, but I'm not offensive, so it's okay. I get paralyzed here, which I was going to go for Protect and get more chip damage off on this thing, but it's fine. It doesn't really come into existence or into play that much. He's going to go for Thunderbolt, revealing that he's a Life Orb. He did a very good job of stalling on my Light Screen. Now I can get this thing in. He's going to go for Thunderbolt, and it's going to do a big amount to me. However, I am going to be able to Heavy Slam and almost kill this thing. Now here, I'm going to go into my Jolteon. I know a Life Orb will kill this thing. I know his Life Orb will kill this thing, and I can take any hit, and I do expect him to... I can take the Thunderbolt with no problem, and I don't really expect a Shadow Ball coming out. Or... Actually, I could have seen the Shadow Ball, which is fine. I would have taken that anyway. I would have taken Shadow Ball, I would have taken HP Ice, I would have taken anything he could have possibly gone for. But he's going to go for the Hidden Power and drop, and go out into some Alakazam. I know I can eat a Psychic, maybe. And he's going to predict... Or, I can't eat a Psychic. But I'm going to go for Shadow Ball. It's my best play. I could have gone for Light Screen, but... Shadow Ball is just really good in case he wants to go to Uxie or whatever. However, he predicts my Gardevoir to come in. He's going to go for Shadow Ball. I'm going to get a hit off, and he's going to kill me with the Hidden Power Ice. So, here, I believe my best play is to go into Zygarde. Bluff that I am Extreme Speed, and hopefully be able to set up on him. I could have gone on Buzzwole, and clicked Leech Life. I didn't calc the damage. I didn't know if this was Modest Alakazam or Timid. But I did believe that Extreme Speed, bluffing Extreme Speed is my best play. And I'm going to go for Sub. If he goes for Hidden Power Ice, he goes for Hidden Power Ice, Suicune still destroys him. He's going to go into his Uxie as I go for Sub. And here, I'm like, alright, this is perfect. If he doesn't have Ice Punch, I can set up all over this. I'm going to go for a Dragon Dance here. And then, I'm going to see he goes for U-turn, and I'm like, great! I get another free Dragon Dance off. He's going to go into Zangoose, revealing that he is Toxic Boost, of course. I'm going to get that Dragon Dance off, and he's going to go for Facade to break my Sub. And at this point, there are a couple things. One, I know Magearna calcs. I use Magearna defensively in the UAPB once every single week, and I did have to prep it against Crimson twice. I know for a fact that a semi-physically defensive Magearna can take a plus 2,000 arrows. If I am uninvested, which I am. I know that the Zangoose, if I set up a coil, cannot do more than 50%, which means I will be out of range for a Specs Water Shuriken from a Greninja unless he's modest and gets like 5 hits and maybe a crit. So with that, I'm positive that my best play is to go for coil, take the hit, be out of range for the Water Shuriken, and potentially just be able to sweep this team with my Zygarde. He goes for Facade, it's going to do damn near nothing, and I'm at 47%. After this, he actually goes for Quick Attack, puts me a little bit lower, so now I'm potentially in range of that Water Shuriken. I can still take 3, as he's actually going to go out to Uxie. Now here, that means I'm going to get more Leftovers Recovery. That tells me he is not Sugar Berry Magearna, which is the only way he'd be able to live 1,000 arrows at this point. It means he's not Water Shuriken Greninja, and that just tells me this game is over. 1,000 arrows are going to go off. Uxie is going to drop. He is going to go out into his Mega Alakazam. Pray that for some reason I'm like min speed or something. But however, I am EV to outspeed this, and that is going to drop as well. His Magearna is going to come out. I'm like, is it Sugar Berry? It is not. Magearna is going to drop, as well as is the Greninja. He has to be specs modest and get every roll. He's not Water Shuriken. And that is just going to drop. And that is going to be GG to Atlanta Shocks. Zygarde just showing how good it really, really is. This Mon is so good. I'm so glad I picked up an offensive ground this season. And that is going to launch us to 2-0 with a +7 differential. And next week we are going against DBL Season 4 champion, Frostfire, and coach of the Irvine Infernates. So that's awesome. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, go ahead and subscribe. I have league content all the time, and I have a very special series coming up for everyone that I believe I already mentioned. I'm going to be in the NPA Minors League, which is really cool. We are in the middle of drafting. Don't tell anyone, even though it's broadcasted all over Twitter. And yeah, my team is really, it's something. There is not going to be any UBLN this week, unfortunately. There was an issue with having a lack of generals for a day or two. And the commissioner decided to extend week 1 until they can get more Jenners, which they have. They got Jenners a couple days later. We now have like 5 or 6 Jenners in the league. That's good. Week 2 will be starting, I believe the day you're seeing this, which is either Sunday or Monday. Week 2 will be starting, so we'll have a video for that coming out next week. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.